Good morning, and welcome to our pre-service meditation this morning. I'm Fran Peck, and it is my pleasure and honor to facilitate our pre-service meditation here at Creative Living Fellowship. So I invite you to close your eyes and take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. And then on the exhale, letting everything go, just being fully present right here and right now. Allowing that breath to breathe you, allowing that breath to breathe us, just breathing deeply into that heart space. Knowing and sensing and feeling that divine energy, that divine breath. And just clear your mind, settle in, get comfortable. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And here in the breath, we rest. And so with the sound of the chime, just allow the chime to bring us back into this time and space. Beginning to breathe normally now. Just feeling into this moment, stretching, becoming fully present. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for joining me. Our service will begin in a few minutes. Namaste.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Living Fellowship online Sunday service. Please join us in our opening song, Holy, Holy Way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me know that love is all around.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. All the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little wiser. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Oh, let my steps reveal the path of peace. Reveal the path of peace. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy
Let me do it.
Good morning. My name is Jeannie Sobrins, and I am a licensed practitioner here at CLF. Our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary, has the day off, but she'll be back next week. I'm delighted to serve as the Sunday service host today. And whether you're joining us on Zoom, Facebook Live, or YouTube, it's my pleasure to welcome you here. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do this through the principles and the practices of the science of mind and spirit. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with tools for living our best possible lives. We believe that there is one power, one presence, one life in the universe that is everywhere present, and that we are all a part of that one right now. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that no one need prepare to meet God. We are meeting him every day. In each hour of the day, we meet him in the rising sun, in the flowing stream, in the budding rose, in the joy of friendship and love, and in the silence of our own soul. One of the practices that takes us into that silence of our own soul is holding high watch. The practice of sitting in a meditative state, holding a space for the perfect unfoldment. This morning, we have practitioner Monica Zigas holding the high watch for us for the perfect unfoldment of this service. And we thank you for your service, Monica. We welcome back our favorite friend, Kirsten Plambeck, as our musical inspiration today. Practitioner Rhonda Emmerich will bring us our opening prayer. That will be followed by a centering moment, and then Rhonda will be back with the inspirational reading of the day. And now, here's Rhonda with our opening prayer.
Good morning. We take this time together to recognize that one power, that one presence, that one essence, that one life that is present and expressing itself throughout all the universe, expressing individually and collectively, expressing here and now as me. I know that it is expressing here and now as each being on this planet. I send love and blessings out to each one on this planet, knowing that we are all expressions of the one. I recognize that that one is present in every situation, in every circumstance of life, in every thought, in every feeling, in every emotion, in every thought, every idea. That is the one expressing. And for that, I am grateful. As I send blessings of love out across our planet, I send those same blessings and love to each and every one in our congregation, each and every one on this service today, to our dear Reverend Sherry, wherever she is this day. I surround her with love. And I surround Reverend Sally with love today as she brings our message to us, knowing that God is speaking in, through, and as her. And I send blessings to each one on this planet, regardless of religious beliefs, regardless of faith traditions, regardless of philosophy, knowing that we are all one. And where there is discord, I know that the truth is peace. Where there is unrest, where there is thoughts and ideas of harm, of war, knowing that peace, that love is the only truth. And I surround each and every person on this planet with a protective shield of divine love, divine protection. And I give gratitude for this prayer, knowing that it is manifest perfectly, easily, and effortlessly. As I release this prayer unto the law, I release it knowing that the law always says yes. I easily release it, I let it go, knowing that it is done now as we desire. And for that, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well.
Our reading this morning is from the Science of Mind textbook, page 439, New Cloth and Old Garments, taken from the Bible, Matthew 9:16 and 17. In saying that no man puts a piece of new cloth on an old garment or new wine in old bottles, Jesus was teaching a lesson in religious development. We are continuously living a new life, and when the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. Continuously, we must expect new revelations of old truths. We should never lose sight of the fact that the soul is on a pathway of an endless and ever-expanding experience, and that only by expansion can it evolve. This does not mean that we should cast away any good that has come, the old has to offer, but that we convert it into a greater good. Accepting the lessons and experiences of the past and taking the best from everything, we should press boldly forward, looking ever for the truth and ever ascending higher and higher into the heavens of reality. There is no limit to the possibility inherent in all men. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and press bravely on.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. My name is Kirsten Plambeck, and I am wishing you a very blessed Sunday. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. Oh, 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 I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. Oh, you are the heart, you are the hands, we are the heart and spirit on earth. We are the hands, oh, we are the heart, we're a blessing to the world. Oh, we're a blessing to the world. We are a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Kirsten. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. Reverend Sally Robbins has been a minister for over 20 years and has been the senior minister of 3 churches in Maryland and Arizona, and now the associate minister for a 4th church in North Carolina. She currently lives in Asheville, North Carolina with her husband, Bob. Now retired from the pulpit, Reverend Sally is a contributing writer to the Science of Mind magazine. She is also currently writing a book that she hopes to have published later this year. I'm very excited about that. In addition to being a dynamic speaker and a published author, Reverend Sally is a sought-after coach who helps individuals reach their highest potential. Would you please help me give a warm welcome to our very own Reverend Sally Robbins.
Oh, thank you, Jeannie. Oh, what a wonderful opportunity to drink in all this delicious consciousness of Creative Living Fellowship, one of my favorite places in the entire world. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad to be here, especially after this week. Can I get an amen to that? Just to be in the consciousness of my tribe. And I got to tell you, I had a very different talk lined up for this morning. I had completed it. It was all done. And this morning I found myself in the shower weeping. And I thought, okay, something's up here. So I sat down and Spirit helped me rewrite about 3/4 of this talk today. And so I just ask for your graciousness as I share a little vulnerability this morning, and I take us on a little different trip than I had planned, but Spirit obviously wanted to happen. And I want to say, even with the events of the past week, this is not about politics. I have never talked about politics from the pulpit, and I never will. And yet, with wherever you are in the political spectrum, the right, the left, middle, whatever, you would have to agree that this country has been through some volatility in the past week, month, couple years, that we have all experienced what I like to call like the paper cuts. You know, when you get a paper cut and you go, oh, wow, that really hurts. Well, then you forget about it, but then, whoo, there's another one. And when we have enough of these paper cut like bruises and piercings into our soul, eventually it starts to build up. And I think that's what's happening to me, to a lot of us. And so this morning, we're not going to do a spiritual bypass. I'm not going to tell you, just look to the light, everything's great. I will finish with that. But first, I want to lead us through a process of how we can acknowledge where we're at. This process was shared by Dr. David Alexander, who's the senior minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Atlanta, Georgia. And he shared it on our ministers listserv, and I just was so grateful because it really addressed exactly where I am in this moment. And I'm hoping it relates to you too. If you are checking your emails, if you're doing anything else while you are listening to this, I invite you to come back, be fully present for this, because this is going to be a powerful way for you to acknowledge where you're at and join in the consciousness that we are intending to create in this center, in this world. So I'm going to start just by talking about the context of this. In the light of all that has transpired in the last few weeks, we have a powerful opportunity to recognize the unacknowledged pain body in our collective space. I'm weeping because I feel the collective pain. I'm an empath. You might be too. And I feel the collective pain in the space of this world. This is the power of community. Don't we teach that we're all one? We're all one. And when one hurts, we all hurt. And so we come together to feel and heal, to honor and recognize what no one will say, but everyone feels. So for all the women that are watching and listening to this, and those on the gender spectrum, please choose your space where you feel called to participate. All of you at home, I invite you, I encourage you to participate. For those women who are listening and watching, I invite you to put your hand on your heart. For anyone else, I invite you to put your hands up towards these women in our community and in the world. I open my hand towards all women. I hold you in my heart. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Beloved women, I cannot know and do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is like to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is to routinely not have my story believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and right now to create a safe place in this spiritual community and say to you clearly and directly, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Let's take a deep breath in and just feel that. And to all the people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, gender fluid, queer, questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, androgynous, and asexual. And again, I ask all of you to participate in this. If you identify with any of those glorious, wondrous ways to express on this earth, I invite you to place your hands on your heart. And for the rest of us, let's hold our hands up to acknowledge these magnificent beings. Beloved, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, gender fluid, queer, questioning, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, androgynous, and asexual family. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. I cannot and I do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is like to routinely not have my story believed. While I do not know what it is like to have these experiences, I do know that I can take full responsibility right here and right now and create a safe place in this spiritual community and say to you clearly and directly, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. And let's take another deep breath and let it out. To all the Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the room, I open my hands towards all of you. I hold you in my heart. If you identify as a glorious manifestation in that way, I invite you to hold your hands on your heart, and the rest of us hold our hands up to you. And we say, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Beloved Black, Indigenous, and people of color family, I cannot know and I do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is to routinely not have my story believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and right now to create a safe place in this spiritual community and to say to you clearly and directly, I hear you, I see you, and your voice matters to me. And I'm not going to forget about the men in our wonderful community here. To any man who has been marginalized, who you know where you are falling, especially those who are in loving support of the rest of us on our journey. I open my hands and my heart to you. If you are a man, I invite you to place your hands on your heart and feel this love coming towards you. Let's all raise our hands, the rest of us, and say, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Beloved men, I cannot know and do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is to be marginalized, shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored. I do not know what it is to routinely not to have my story believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and right now to create a safe place in this spiritual community and say to you clearly and directly, I see you. I hear you. Your voice matters to me. Let's take another breath in. And may the vibration of these affirmations that we have shared and the meditations of our heart move out into the wider world and make a difference. And so it is. If you felt a shift, and I hope you did, I certainly did, that when I know that I have stepped into a place where nothing and no thing can come between me and the God within me and expressing that God in this world. And yet I have felt diminished. I have felt in so many ways where I really wondered. On Friday, I really wondered, what country do I belong to at this point? And maybe you can relate to that when there seems to be such chaos and turmoil and divide and even hatred. It just makes me wonder, how do I continue to live these principles that I've been teaching for 40 years? How do I show up and live in the way that I want to be a person of consciousness, high consciousness? This is where I've had to really put the rubber to the road, so to speak, that I've had to really pony up and go, okay, it's time to put your big girl pants on. And it's time to live as you would live, no matter what is happening, going on in this world. The title of the talk that I'd chosen over a month ago is Being a Transformative Force for Good. So I'm still going to talk about that, because that's what I've decided to do. In the midst of how can I do this, that is my resolve, that I'm here to be a transformative light, a transformative force for good, no matter what is happening around me, no matter who is saying what, no matter what is going on social media, no matter what. That is my role and my mission. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for those of us who are saying yes to this higher calling. And I don't believe that it's an accident. There is no such thing as a random universe. Everything is happening for and to me for my highest good. My soul has called in these experiences to get to test. How do I know if I'm courageous if all I've had is really wonderful sunshine and roses? I get to test how I know what I know. Thank you, Spirit, for the opportunity to practice my spiritual practices. It's not spiritual perfect, it's spiritual practice. And yet I'm a little verklempt in thinking, oh my gosh, it's back to the basics. I can't just keep rolling along as if nothing has happened. I get to acknowledge the pain that I feel, and then I get to not dwell in it. Let me make that really clear. As we're climbing this mountain of consciousness, we can feel the pain of what has happened to us, but we don't pitch a tent and live there. We get to understand it, let it flow to us, through us, around us, and let it go. And then we get to move on to something else. I want to show you a video that really spoke to me this week. And it's by Maya Angelou. And so as I share this with you, take this into heart. She really pinpoints what it is we are here to do.
maybe the hardest part is if you teach, you have to live your teaching. You can't say, you do not as I do, but do as I say. No. You have to say, I'm doing my best to live what I teach. I have a painting by Phoebe of a group that she calls Sister Suki's Funeral. And all the women, there are about 9 women, and they all look like women in my grandmother's prayer meeting group. So whenever I'm obliged to do something, I take that painting and I look at that painting. There's an empty chair. And I think, now, what would Grandma do? What would she say? I can almost hear her voice say, now, sister, you know what's right. Just do right. You don't really have to ask anybody. The truth is, right may not be expedient. It may not be profitable, but it will satisfy your soul. It brings you the kind of protection that bodyguards can't give you. Try to be all you can be, to be the best human being you can be. Try to be that in your church, in your temple. Try to be that in your classroom. Do it because it is right to do. You see, people will know you, and they will add their prayers to your life. They'll wish you well. I think if your name is mentioned and people say, oh, hell, oh, damn, I think you're doing something wrong. But if your name is mentioned and people say, oh, she's so sweet, he's so nice, oh, I love, oh, God bless her. There you are. So try to live your life in a way that you will not regret years of useless virtue and inertia and timidity. Take up the battle. Take it up. It's yours. This is your life. This is your world. I'll be leaving it long before you under the ordinary set of circumstances. You make your own choices. You can decide life isn't worth living. And that would be the worst thing you can do. How do you know? So far. Try it. See. So pick it up. Pick up the battle and make it a better world. Just where you are. Yes. And it can be better, and it must be better, but it is up to us.
Just do right, she says. Just do right. And I love that she didn't even tell us what exactly that is, because it's still upon our choice as to what that might be. And so when we get to that place, we have to understand that we have to look at what's mine to do. And so that's the rallying cry that I'm coming up. What's mine to do? Because she's right. If I'm teaching this, I have to live it. I have to live this with every fiber of my being. I may fall short of perfection, but I absolutely am going to give it my best shot. I remember a woman came to me years ago for a practitioner session, and she went on and on about how her job was terrible. It was absolutely horrible, and that people were stabbing her in the back, and that, you know, it was just cutthroat and just not a nice place to work at all. And as she finished, I said to her, what if, just imagine, what if the only purpose of you being in that job was so that you could be the light that you are into the darkness that you perceive? What if that was your sole mission? Because you are there to be the light, no matter what. And she went, oh, I get it. I get it. And she went back, and it's not like her job changed dramatically or magically. She changed. Her consciousness showed up in a whole different way. Rather than seeing herself as a victim, she showed up as an empowered person who was there to love and to shine her beautiful light. I love what Panache Desai says. He says, we are put in exactly the place that we need to be to love the people we are around. Now, I find that a little hard to believe sometimes because, like, really? I'm supposed to love this? And yes, that's the message that I keep getting. That if I really do believe these practices, if I really do believe these teachings, that I am here to show up, do what's mine to do, and be a transformative force for good. I get to choose how that evolves and transpires. I get to be the one who decides that. And maybe the best way that I have found to do that is to ask this one question, and that is this: how can I serve? How can I serve? And when I ask that question, I can guarantee you, if you ask it, Spirit will find ways that will just start popping up all over that gives you the opportunity to say, yes, that's mine. That's how I can serve and be the light, the love, the truth, the joy that I am. How can I serve? What a great way for me to focus on that rather than all this other that's going on right now. And so I invite you this week, I invite you to consider being a transformative force for good. The reading that I chose this morning that Rhonda read, again, chosen maybe a month ago. And yet, when she read it, I was like, oh my gosh. The end of that reading says, this is Ernest Holmes saying this on page, what page is this? 439 of the textbook. There is no limit to the possibility inherent in all men. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and press bravely on. And so I invite you, my friends, let's press bravely on and find whatever it is that's ours to do. You've probably already got a couple of ideas on what's yours to do. How can I serve and be a transformative force for good in this world? Let's take a deep breath in. We've just processed a lot. Take it all in and let it out. And so I invite you, if you feel comfortable, close your eyes and let's just close this time together with a prayer. It is so good to be in this safe space of knowing the truth, of knowing that I can create this space within myself and for all of humanity at the moment I desire to. I know that I can trust that good is happening right now, even in the midst of chaos and the hurricane and the swirl of all the worldly events. I can let it all go and know that I am the center point of good, the center point of love, the center point of trust, of harmony. I can know that to the very core of my being. And as I do that, as I trust that, I know that my good, the path of my good is opening up before me. Every stone in my way is being turned over. I can let go of the thoughts of what do I have to do next and just know I am being divinely guided into divine right action, and the perfect right next step is appearing right now. Simply because I call it forth. I claim it right now, that my path is being established, my good is here and now, and nothing and no thing can come between me and that good. And so I simply rest in that knowledge today, knowing that even as I weep sometimes, I weep and have great sadness and grief. That too is part of my human experience. I can love that and bless that. Knowing that as I let that pass through me, that I am on my way to a greater good. I am on my way to something so magnificent I can't even have imagined it yet. And so I let loose of these human shackles of my human mind and step into the divine right now, knowing that I am blessed, I am prospered, and that I am completely ensconced in this divine magical universe of the one. Of the one. And I wish only good upon my fellow man. The one is me. And so I simply rest in this knowledge right now, knowing that I have declared something to call forth the power and the vibration of my voice, just as every treatment, every prayer that we say is now coming into fruition because it has been called forth in mind. And so I simply let go. I allow it to be. I am grateful for the direction, for the guidance that is ever present within me. And when I feel that I've lost my way, I can return to this space and know the truth about who I am. I am blessed beyond belief. So I simply let go. I let it be so. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Sally, for those divinely inspired words, reminding us that we are the center point of good. Powerful. And now is the time that we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving. CLF is a tithing church, and we invite you to participate in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. You can click on the donate link in our website or on the comments in Zoom or on Facebook or YouTube. You can also use your smartphone to text to give by using phone number 602-610-1868. Whichever method you choose to use to give, we truly appreciate your continued financial support of CLF. And now let us repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. And it's my pleasure now to welcome back Kirsten Plambeck with our offering song.
So I came to the fork of the river, and I didn't know which way I should go. I had no map, no compass, no driver, precious little information to show. It can be hard in this life to make decisions, and it's an altogether common thing to fail. As I surveyed my current situation, I decided to just go ahead and sail. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no faithful final chance. I just read up each day and do the best I can when I hear the music dance. I get confused quite often. Seems most times I hardly ever get it right. And I think life's just about facing fear and trying. So I just point my little boat towards the light. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan,
no fateful final chance. Just pick up each day, do the best I can. When I hear the music dance. So whatever you're facing, just remember this, that control you've been creating cannot be. So take a long deep breath and surrender it. You'll be alright, yes you will, wait and see. There is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no faithful final chance. Just wake up each day and do the best I can. When I hear the music dance, there is no one way, there is no foolproof plan, no faithful final chance. I just wake up each day, do the best I can. When I hear the music dance, oh, when I hear the music dance, oh, when I hear the music dance.
Oh, sorry about that. I lost my controls for a second. I was not panicking, I promise. Okay, maybe just a little bit. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Kirsten, for that amazing song. And thank you, Reverend Sally. I really needed that today. So thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful message and practice. And now it is time for our announcements. First thing, let's breathe. Meditation is a great mindfulness practice that helps us get comfortable with silence. And as we master that still, silent space, we open ourselves up to God. So join us for midday meditation to start or support your meditation practice. Midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Friday. We also hold a 20-minute pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:35 a.m. And thank you, practitioner Fran Peck, for doing an amazing meditation this morning. You can join us for any of these meditations through our Facebook and YouTube live streams or in Zoom. Join Reverend Jorge every Monday evening to explore spiritual practices that apply Sunday messages to the lessons and experiences of our day-to-day lives. By increasing our practices, we open up to see beyond our boundaries and self-interests and transform our consciousness to enjoy the union with God and to live from that union. You can participate in Monday practice with Reverend Jorge through our Facebook and YouTube live streams at 6:30 p.m. Get your community care and connection on with your CLF family and Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Zoom meeting at 6:30 p.m. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. The Ernest Holmes Book Study starts back up on Saturday, July 9th. The group will be reading The Hidden Power of the Bible, what science of mind reveals about the Bible and you. And then meeting weekly on Saturdays to discuss, grow, and connect. The Ernest Holmes Book Study is a drop-in group and a great spiritual practice. So get your copy of The Hidden Power of the Bible and read chapter 1, and then join us on Saturday, July 9th from 10 a.m. to noon. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Our practitioners are available for one-on-one prayer with you in private breakout rooms. Or you can reach out to one of our on-call practitioners. The list can be found in the comments or on our website under prayer. You can also email a prayer request to our practitioners at prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Upon receipt, they will pray over your request for 30 days. Remember, you don't need to walk around with a heavy heart. Your practitioners are waiting for the opportunity to serve you in prayer. And after service, we have Sunday fellowship. Join us in Zoom and hang out, discuss the service, and connect with your CLF family. If you're in Zoom with us now, just stay right where you are. If you're not, use the links and join us right away after service. The links can be found in the comments or on our website under events, under our Facebook events, or in your weekly newsletter. Those are also the places where you can find the links for all of our other opportunities to connect and practice. Well, that's it for my announcements. It is now time to go back to practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns.
Thank you, Nicole. And thank you, Reverend Sally, for that amazing message and practice. My heart is opened. Thank you. And thank you, Kirsten, for what a wonderful musical inspiration today. I want to remind you to continue to use the Treatment for Supply at Home, page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook, and to continue to connect with each other. I am so grateful you joined us today, and thank you for allowing me to be of service. Never fear, Dr. Sherry will be back next week. And now it's time for our closing song, I Release and Let Go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife with my